In 1986, the world watched in horror as the Challenger space shuttle disintegrated just 73 seconds after liftoff, a bright plume of smoke marking the tragic loss of all 7 astronauts on board. These brave individuals, including Christia McAuliffe, a schoolteacher, set to become the first civilian in space, perished in a completely avoidable disaster. This catastrophic failure shocked not only the nation but the entire world, leaving a lasting scar on space exploration. At the heart of this tragedy lies Allan J. McDonald, the director of the Space Shuttle Solid Rocket Motor Project at Morton Thiokol, the contractor responsible for the shuttle's solid rocket boosters. In the critical hours leading up to the launch, McDonald stood firm in his refusal to approve it, a decision driven by his deep concern for the crew's safety. His actions and the ethical dilemmas he faced shine a light on the immense pressure engineers can experience when lives are at stake. Before the Challenger disaster, Morton Thiokol engineers, including McDonald, had identified a serious problem with the O-rings, rubber seals located in the rocket boosters. These O-rings were critical in preventing hot gases from escaping during flight. However, under cold conditions they became brittle and could fail to properly seal the rocket boosters. In the hours leading up to the Challenger launch, temperatures were predicted to be near freezing, far below the O-ring's optimal operating range. McDonald and his team strongly advised postponing the launch due to this risk. However, NASA was under pressure to proceed with the launch, as this was a highly publicized mission with civilian Christia McAuliffe on board, and had already been delayed multiple times. Despite the engineers' warnings, NASA managers were determined to go ahead, leading to the tragic outcome we know today. Now, let's explore the ethical responsibilities Allan McDonald faced using the EGAD framework. McDonald's responsibility was to ensure the safety of the astronauts, and he knew that the O-rings faced a critical safety risk in the cold temperatures on launch day. And despite NASA's schedule pressures, McDonald's duty was to prioritize safety above all else. The ethical dilemma came from balancing this pressure with the pressure to meet organizational deadlines. McDonald had a few potential options. He could have stood firm and completely refused the launch, which he did, and this was a great personal and professional risk. His second option was to comply with NASA's decision, which would have avoided conflict, but compromised his ethical obligations. And his third option would have been to escalate his objections publicly. McDonald could have gone to the media or to higher authorities, a bold step that might have halted the launch, but would have been seen as drastic and disloyal to his company. Let's now analyze McDonald's options using deontological ethics, which focus on duty-based moral obligations. McDonald had several clear duties as an engineer. His duty to astronaut safety was his primary responsibility, and it was to protect the lives of the astronauts. By opposing the launch, despite the pressure from NASA and his company, McDonald was fulfilling his moral obligation. Duty to uphold engineering standards. He had a duty to follow the rigorous safety protocols and ethical guidelines of his profession. Refusing to sign off on launch was an ethical stand ensuring that the proper engineering standards were maintained. Duty to escalate concerns further. Knowing the severe risks, McDonald had a duty to escalate his concerns, and he did this by voicing his opposition to the launch and raising awareness of the technical issues, even when it wasn't well received. In fulfilling these duties, McDonald prioritized safety over external pressures, demonstrating responsibility in the face of significant challenges. Ultimately, McDonald's refusal to approve the launch was the most ethical decision, and though overruled, his stance showed a deep commitment to safety, and his actions remain a powerful example of ethical leadership in engineering. The Challenger disaster serves as a critical reminder of the importance of ethical decision-making in engineering. Allan McDonald's actions exemplify how engineers must sometimes stand against powerful organizations and their pressures to uphold the ethical responsibilities they have. His refusal to compromise on safety, despite the risks to his career, remain a powerful lesson in professional integrity.